Crossovers. They've been the foundation of our society for centuries. From the American Revolution to Spider-Man No Way Home, everything important is a crossover. So this is why we're doing a crossover episode right now. Hey, what's the crossover episode that we're doing? Euphoria, High School Musical, the musical, the series.
Pitch meeting.
I'm so serious, it's not even funny.
So Fez, right? We all know Fez, everyone knows Fez, okay? He hears news that there's a lot of drugs underneath the Euphoria High School. He's like, oh, like free drugs, like I'm gonna get those drugs. So he like sets off like a minor explosion in the boiler room.
As one does.
Destroys some like load-bearing pillars and stuff. It's like this high school needs to be condemned or something, right? Condemned?
Like by a priest?
So the high school's like broken and they have to send all the students away to the nearest high school.
It's broken.
It's broken, and the nearest high school is East High.
Fun fact, you guys, the high school in Euphoria is called East Highland High School, and the high school in High School Musical is obviously East High, so...
That's not a coincidence.
Coincidence? I think not.
We open the episode, Miss Jen walks into the theater room and she's like, all right, kids, we have new students coming in. We're actually gonna be putting on one of these new students' plays. Lexi, right? Because like Lexi's all about like her play now.
A thespian.
So there are open auditions for this play.
Right.
So Big Red, he like connects with Maddie because they both don't really want much from life. So Big Red is like convincing Maddie to join the theater. He's like, yeah, it's like been such a confidence boost for me. And you know, like Maddie is a confident person, but she like needs to be able to express that somehow. So theater would just really work for her. For some reason, like Ricky and Nate start to talk. And Ricky's all like, oh yeah, like I won over my girlfriend again by like joining the theater. And so Nate's like, oh, like Maddie's doing this play, like, so I guess I have to audition then, right?
I like the correlation.
It's all connected if you really think about it. Like I didn't do much work, I just like found the answers, you know?
Like it was all there.
EJ happens to overhear this, but that's not important until he has his meet cute with Jules in the cafeteria. They totally like bump into each other, they like drop their food. And this is when Jules like breaks down everything about like each Euphoria character. And obviously EJ's kind of freaking out because Euphoria is just like on a different level, you know?
It's a different world.
So this is when EJ's like, okay, I have to make sure Nate doesn't like join the theater group because he's like super toxic, right? So him and Nate do a dual audition and they sing We Don't Talk About Bruno together.
Relevant.
And there's also, just a pause, I know Rue's technically the main character. I just had her the entire time just like looking for drugs throughout. And it'll just like randomly cut back to Rue just like asking someone like, hey, do you know if there are any drugs anywhere? Or she's like looking under some bleachers for some drugs or just like looking under a tray or something like that. So Cassie hears that Nate is auditioning and obviously, you know, like the state that Cassie's in at the moment, like she's going to audition too. So it's kind of like this string of people auditioning for other people. She tries to get some tips from Nene and they have like a sleepover and Nene like sings her a song about like loving yourself and like not trying to like need men to validate her. That's it, that's literally all I had. And I just needed to know like what her input was, what your thoughts were. Where are we taking this?
I was thinking, I think it needs to happen like at a summer camp.
Okay, to change up the entire location.
Because summer camps bring out the best and the worst in people. They run it at the same time. It's a big facility, so there's room for everybody. Miss Jen, like she's obviously on something, like some kind of stimulant. So as soon as Rue gets there, she just like really attaches to Miss Jen and she's like, this is my person, like we're on the same page. They like really tried to like buff up the musical theater program, but really it's like an undercover drug operation. Ricky and Nene, like, personally, I think they're endgame. I think everybody knows that. But you know, they're young, they're fickle, and they're letting conflict exist where conflict doesn't need to exist. So their wake-up call is gonna be Nate and Maddie. So Nene is gonna date Nate, right? Nate is really gonna show her, help her realize all the things she loved about Ricky. And same with Maddie, you know? Maddie's toxic and, you know, abrasive, and she's really gonna show Ricky all the good qualities in Nene by just like really destroying him emotionally, spiritually, physically, agriculturally. And then, so yeah, those were kind of my thoughts.
I'd be willing to give you the summer camp angle for sure. I do like the Rue and Miss Jen thing.
Okay.
I think that's good. That makes a lot of sense. I think we need to merge our pitches, okay?
Okay.
I do want in the beginning.
I thought you were gonna say I think we need a murder, and I was like, okay.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
Okay, like maybe we do need a murder.
Okay.
Okay, if we had to murder anyone from either cast, like who would we murder? Big Red?
Yeah, let's take out Big Red.
Take out Big Red.
Summer camp murder is like a classic combo. Nene getting together with Nate can like cause drama and destroy her and Cassie's like mentorship. Because obviously Cassie is...
Right. Okay, so we have a bus, of the Euphoria High School heading there and a bus of the High School Musical.
Yeah. And obviously there's gonna be a musical number in the High School Musical, the musical bus, like talking about being on the way to camp.
Yeah.
And then it'll cut to the Euphoria bus and people will be like snorting a line off the back of the seat. They'll
Yeah.
be like punching each other.
And
they'll
cursing
be
each other out.
trading inappropriate photos. So it'll just really show the contrast between the two worlds.
Okay, and so we get to the camp and,
Wait, what's the name of the camp?
oh, that's a great point.
Camp Raven's Crest
Hollow.
Ridge.
Camp Raven's Crest Hollow Ridge.
Ethan and like Big Red would be like best friends, like in the most annoying
No,
way
that's what I was
possible.
thinking. That's what, okay, I was thinking of pairing up Kat and Big Red because like,
She has a type.
she has
like
a type.
Safe type.
So they get there, they're in the cafeteria, they're all chatting it up. This is when Rue has been like looking for drugs for a while. Miss Jen walks in, she's like her crazed self. Rue's like, She walks over and like follows Miss Jen after she like makes this announcement about theater. Some people go out to a bonfire.
Okay.
And then some people go out like swimming in the lake or whatever. The murder of Big Red happens at the cafeteria. So everyone has to like try to pinpoint each other's location to figure out who was left at the cafeteria to murder Big Red.
Here's what I think should happen like at the bonfire,
Okay.
All the Euphoria characters try to pressure the High School Musical characters into doing drugs at the bonfire. Then the High School Musical characters like perform a musical number called like There's No High Like Friendship or something like that.
Okay, what if whenever like the Euphoria characters try to get the High School Musical characters to do something
something
out
bad?
of like beyond their rating, they like glitch or something like that. They like get stuck, glitch, and then perform a musical number.
Okay, like
Wouldn't that be kind of haunting?
I think it would be.
Who's at the bonfire?
Elijah, Nate, Maddie, Cassie are trying to pressure Big Red's girlfriend, who's also a ginger, Ashlyn,
Why'd you highlight the ginger part?
Nene. Who else would be the most opposed to taking drugs?
But isn't Big Red at the cafeteria? Oh, he maybe goes back for a snack and that's when he gets
Or
murdered.
he leaves because he can't stand the peer pressure.
Okay, that's true. And then he goes to get a snack in the cafeteria and then he gets murdered. Okay. Yeah, I would love to see Nene's face and like distressed about drugs or something like that. That just like would work so well.
It would work really well.
Maybe Gina?
I feel like Gina would go for it.
What if like Gina's going for it and they're like, Gina, don't do it. And they like sing a song?
Okay, I like that.
Because Gina's like edgy, you know?
Gina's
like,
down for,
So they sing this magical number about not doing drugs. And then that's when they hear like the high-pitched scream from the cafeteria. And then meanwhile, out on the lake is Ricky, EJ. Sev and Carlos are at the lake.
They would hardcore not do drugs.
Maybe they're playing like an intense game of Marco Polo, but the Euphoria characters are like really violent. They're like scarily violent. They're like
hardcore, like,
dragging people
drowning,
down.
yeah.
Just like full on abuse.
And like Nene somehow like sees Nate like full on drown somebody. Who do we want to drown?
Wait, Nate's at the bonfire though.
Well, they left to go to the lake after Big Red left to go to the cafeteria.
Okay.
Big Nate, Big Red went to the cafeteria to get a snack, and then the rest of them went to the lake. So like Nene like sees Nate like full on drown somebody, right? Like who does he drown?
But does he actually drown them?
Yeah.
Oh, like
fatally.
There's gonna be multiple murders?
This is a fatal drowning. Nate drowns Carlos, which is obviously sad, but like Nene is so used to like Ricky, who's kind of like this wishy-washy, like insecure guy. And so she sees Nate do something like with confidence and bravado, and she says, I want that in a partner.
Okay.
And so that's the first time that she like feels herself drawn to Nate. There's like a little square deck floating in the middle of the lake. She watches him like transfix. She like drowns Carlos in this game of Marco Polo. And then when like he comes up out of the water, Nate's head like pops out of the water. Nate and Nene just make like prolonged eye contact, and like Nene's horrified, and then her facial expression like slowly melts into like a smile.
But she's still a good character because she's convinced that like, oh, I can take this confidence and use it for good.
Maybe not.
No, she's still a good character. She's like, I can change him. Like, obviously he's got confidence, but like I can turn that for good instead of evil.
She thinks she can take that confidence and make him like an amazing performer.
How she tries to do that is like write him a love song because that's what she does.
Yeah.
So there's like a scene later on when they're like alone somewhere.
And it has to have like a bunch of drowning puns, like drowning in you, drowning in your love.
And he's like, you did it. Like, I'm different now.
But then like Miss Jen should get together with Nate's dad.
The murder in the cafeteria.
So it cuts back from the drowning to the cafeteria where Big Red is like by himself, the lights are off, it's like dark. He's like, what is he making for himself?
Mac and cheese.
Like a panini or something.
Okay, like a martini.
Sure. And then you realize that like Big Red actually has been struggling with substance abuse in the form of martinis, which is why he left the campfire so quickly, because he knew he'd be tempted.
And he like gave
Yeah.
into his temptation.
He was
and
like,
got
okay,
a
like I want to do
martini.
drugs, but I'll make myself a martini. Because of course this camp cafeteria has martini
It
supplies.
does. Well, like you said, it's like modern. It's a modern camp. Like,
It's a
it gets
modern
that
organization.
Teens want alcohol.
Yeah, so he's just like there, and like he hears like the creak of a door open, and
And then there's like a crash, and he goes to check out the crash. It's like jars of like
devotionals.
pickles. So he goes to clean it up, and as he goes to clean it up, someone takes a shard of the glass and slits it through him.
That's good.
Just,
But
like,
who killed
visually-
him?
Well, we have to find that out later. They all hear the scream. It's like a
Right.
blood-curdling scream. They all run up to the cafeteria, and everyone's just like, "Oh, Nate did this. Like Nate killed
Yeah,
Big Red,
Big
right?"
Red.
And then Nini's like, "No, he didn't do this. Like he was out drowning Carlos. Like he couldn't have done it. Nate's innocent."
It's a very condemning alibi, but like we know he didn't kill Big Red.
Right, we
he
know
killed
for sure
Carlos.
it wasn't him who killed Big Red. That's
Yeah.
the thing. So he's like, okay, who else could have killed Big Red? So they go down and they interrogate people, and everyone has a pretty tight alibi until Miss Jen and Rue walk in after like doing their, substance abuse thing. On Big Red is like some powder, and they're like, oh my gosh, it was one of you. So it was either Rue or Miss Jen. Miss Jen has like a slice on her hand because she like picked up the shard of glass, and so quickly grieving Seb is like obviously distraught. So he screams and he grabs Miss Jen's hand. He's like, you killed him! You killed Big Red! I don't know why he's not taking it out more on Nate. And they're all like, oh my gosh, Miss Jen killed Big Red. And
Right.
so they all like pull Miss Jen to burn her at the stake.
Okay, keep going.
So it gets really manic and Miss Jen's like freaking out, right? And then they burn her at the stake.
Dude, the death count is up to 3. I have an alternative ending idea.
Okay, what?
Okay, so Big Red, he's in the cafeteria, right, making the panini. But originally, what happened was that Nate was supposed to meet Fez in the cafeteria because Nate owed Fez money for drugs, right? And like his payment was way past due. Fez was getting in trouble with his dealer. So it was supposed to be Nate that met Fez in the cafeteria. Nate was obviously too busy drowning Carlos, playing Marco Polo, and falling in love with Nini. And so Big Red was just there by circumstance, trying to make a panini and a martini. But so he's there and he's like, Fez has to like end Nate because like Nate owes him money. He got him in trouble. He didn't pay. Big Red was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. So, he just ended up catching the short end of the
So
stick.
Fez couldn't tell the difference between Big Nate and...
No.
Wait, Big Nate? I said it again.
Big Nate. Okay, they have to like rename him. Okay.
So Fez couldn't tell the difference between Big Red and Nate.
I mean,
So
can
you're
you tell the
saying.
difference?
Like a short redhead
I
dude
can't.
versus like a tall brunette. That makes sense.
But I still think Miss Jen
Maybe-
should get burned at the
maybe-
stake.
Okay, but maybe Big Red was like on a step stool or something. So
Okay.
he was on a step stool like reaching for like some pickles for his panini or olives for his martini. I'm a
Okay.
fan of either one of our endings. We can
Okay.
go with whatever, so.
And then like everybody just decides to burn Miss Jen at the stake because like, it's time. You know what I mean? Like it's been coming for a while. And that's how it ends. And then they roast s'mores around the fire.
Oh, like Miss Jen's fire.
Yeah.
Like not even like the bonfire.
Not even a separate fire. They really took advantage
And they
of an
sing one final
opportunity.
song.
Yeah.
They sing one final song. Like it's called "The Burning of Miss Jen."
Yeah. But it's like an upbeat pop ballad about friendship and coming together.
I think we did a good job.
I think we did a good job as well.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our crossover episode.
Yeah.
Let us know like what you thought, like if you had any additions to
Yeah.
things, like things that needed to happen. And we just really appreciate any support you can give us. Any affirmation would also be welcome.
Remember, we are trying to get ad-free Hulu.
We are trying to
so
get ad-free
just
Hulu.
remember, every time you share, you like, you subscribe, you are supporting someone's dream. It may be a humble dream, but it's really important.
That's true. Ad free Hulu. Bye. That was so freaking good. Oh wait. Oops.